What's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the USBL here on MLB The Show 21. And as we're getting really close to the All-Star Week, we're also got a special one for you guys here today. We have the USBL Trade Day, so I'm going to show all of the trades that have happened over the course of the trade day, and then either at the end of this episode or the end of next episode, which could be the last one before the All-Star break, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys the call-ups that happen as a direct result of seeing these trades happen. So it's going to be a good one. Make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe if you have to be brand new. Let's go ahead and see some trades that happened here in the USBL. So with that being said, one of the teams that I did identify as a seller here at the trade deadline is the Boston Quakers. And the Boston Quakers, they are, they're probably going to be the most busy in this trade day. But, to start things off here, they are going to go ahead and trade away Yasmani Grandal. Grandal, he's an aging guy, 32 years old. And he is simply not very happy with the situation with Boston. It has been a really tough season, and they are going to go ahead. New York won the randomized deal to get Yasmani Grandal. So this is the trade offer that they put together. Now, to start things off, they are going to offer a backup center fielder, Jake Marinoski. He's 30 years old, see potential, not that expensive, $1.5 million, which is really nice to see. And having an okay season as well, batting .248, has 9 home runs, 31 RBIs, and is a pretty cheap option as well. And that also does go ahead and shore up their options at the center field position, because they don't really have any USBL caliber players at center field. So that does, shore that up for them. And then as a throw-in as well, on top of it, Chucky Robinson will be thrown into this deal as well. He is currently sitting at the AA level for the New York Knights organization. 66 overall, 24 years old. Got C potential, so he certainly, has an ability, to make it to the USBL someday. But, in the interim, catcher is going to be a little bit more difficult. They do have guys like Tucker Barnhart and Anthony Bemboon waiting in the wings. But they will probably have to address that catcher position in the future. But that being said, I think they're going to go ahead and make this trade. As for the prospects that we got going on here, the Columbus Gents are up next, and they are going to go ahead. They need to trade away Jose Abreu because 34 years old. He's also in a situation where he isn't necessarily happy, and it's a big contract to take on for what is actually being provided. 264, 10 home runs, also have 38 RBIs, but has struck out 49 times thus far this season. And it is his worst batting average since entering, professional baseball level. The Columbus Gents aren't going anywhere either. So the Chicago Freeze, they win the sweepstakes for Jose Abreu, and they are going to go ahead and, look at Andrew Vaughn. He is an A prospect, 21 years old, already up at the USBL level, but hasn't done much as of yet. Only batting .210, 5 home runs, 28 RBIs, has struck out 70 times thus far this season, but he is only 21 years old. And if Columbus is going to go ahead and rebuild, I think this would be a really good look for them overall. So Columbus will trade Jose Abreu for Andrew Vaughn, who may not be much now, but will be, a guy that can be an interesting prospect going forward. Moving on now to the first trade that is not in this division. We have Roberto Perez, playing catcher. Roberto Perez, also, on that age again, 32 years old, and he's also on an expiring deal as well. he probably will not be on the team next season for Detroit anyways, just with how it's been so far. And was never a good hitter, only batting .218 as of right now, but he is a great defensive catcher. 99 fielding, 69 arm, 99 everything. That's why he is here at the USBL level. But they're gonna look to get younger at the position. The New Orleans Kings won the sweepstakes, so they are going to go ahead. They're going to take a look at Bo Naylor. He has a B potential, has 70 overall right now, only 19 years old. Basically a younger version of what they have right now, and they can see what they have in Bo Naylor. Let's see what he can do at the USBL level. So the Detroit Leopards will trade Roberto Perez for Bo Naylor. But let's go ahead and talk about the biggest, player that is available that's getting put on the trade block. That's Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman, 27 years old, 92 overall. But the thing with him is he's on an expiring deal as of right now, and he is simply not happy with the situation with what's going on with Denver right now. He's not really feeling it, man. Once out of Denver. But San Jose Mariners, they won the sweepstakes, but they're going to pay probably the biggest price tag of all of these players, that are available. Probably the biggest trade of the trade day. Starting off, there's the current USBL player, Yuri Guerrero, who is declining really quickly, 36 years old. Batting .287, he's doing pretty solid in the games that he does appear in, but he is declining really quickly. It would at least provide a stopgap for the Denver Ball Eagles, because right now their best player is Bobby Bradley, who is only a 68 overall, but he does have a potential, though, to say the least. 24 years old, he just isn't ready yet for the big stage, only batting .217. So Yuri Guerrero would be a temporary stopgap for the Denver Ball Eagles, allow for maybe a little bit better development for Bobby Bradley before they try to bring it back up here once again. But San Jose will also have to go ahead. They're going to have to trade in some of their bigger prospects in their farm system. 2 top 50 prospects. First and foremost, we have William Moore, who actually is a custom recruit. It was brought over from the Texas Rangers series that I had over on the main channel once upon a time. He is a 70 overall right now, a potential. He would at least get the benefits sitting behind Brandon Lowe. I don't know if they'll go ahead and bring him up. 26 years old as of right now, and can at least sit behind Brandon Lowe for at least a couple more seasons. Maybe not as good of a situation for William Moore, but he is a top 50 prospect, and it helps Denver rebuild its farm system because they only have one top 50 guy. And then over at catcher, they are also interested in Keibert Reyes, who is also a top 50 prospect as well. Now, it'd be a little bit of a logjam for him, but it would give him plenty of time to develop in that farm system as well. Top 50 player, only 21 years old, a potential, has spent a couple of games up at the USBL level in the past, but he's hitting pretty well at the AAA club as of right now. Give him a little bit of time as well, and he could develop into a really good player for Denver down the road. And provides a little bit more depth at catcher as well, because there's not really as much going on in the farm system. And for the last trade that is involved in the USBL trade day, we have Nick Anderson, who is the relief pitcher for the Boston Quakers. He is also on the trade block as well. 30 years old, a potential. Has a couple of years of service in. Hasn't seen much time, as a setup man, but that required him to actually save games. Does have 13 saves in 13 appearances, less than 1 ERA. So this guy, he's pretty good. He is on the last year of his deal, and he's 30 plus years old, man. He's currently in his prime. He wants to go to a team that is actually trying to go ahead and win. So Nick Anderson will be thrown in. As for the Houston Astronauts, they did win the sweepstakes. they're going to throw in 3 players. 2 of them are in the minor leagues, but the USBL player that they're going to go ahead and throw in is Mike Toshman. And Mike Toshman hasn't really seen the field much. 30 years old, 73 overall, has only appeared in 8 games thus far this season. Has a 200 batting average, no home runs, 2 RBIs, no stolen bases either. But why he's being thrown is over in left field, more of a stopgap, maybe give, guys like Willie Calhoun a little bit more time to develop, because he could be playing just a tad better. Same thing for Vance Vecino. Same thing for Freddie Link as well, and also Phil Von Valkenburg. All 3 of these guys promising prospects in the Boston Quakers organization, but they just need somebody that is going to be a stopgap for the time being, and Mike Toshman can certainly fill that role in. Or relief pitcher, they're also going to go ahead and throw in Gene Cosma. He is, a C potential guy, 62 overall though, so definitely could make it to the USBL club at some point. Replace somebody that is also a relief pitcher. And then the top prospect that's being thrown in is Robert Pusan. He is actually a top 10 prospect, in all farm systems in the USBL. Only 17 years old, already a 73 overall. Is the heir apparent for Miguel Rejos, but that being said, Scott Kingery is also in here as well on top of it, so he can also step in and be that guy as well. So that is the final trade here in the USBL trade day. So with those trades in the USBL trade day, the first one ever of its kind, let's go ahead and get to some game action now, and we have quite a few games to get into here today as well. We got the Indianapolis Indians going on the road to play against the Louisville Colonials. The Colonials will be bringing out Yu Darvish taking on Cico Sanchez, and Yu Darvish is one of those pitchers really kind of showing that tendency, really starting to decline. He's not having that great of a year whatsoever. 4.87 ERA, that's not getting the job done necessarily, but Louisville doesn't necessarily have anyone in the minor leagues that's ready to come up just yet. So Yu Darvish kind of seen as Louisville as one of those stopgap kind of options for the time being. Hey, right now, not a great start for Yu Darvish in this game as well, as this one's hit deep out into left field, but thankfully there's a massive wall out here similar to the one over at Fenway Park. Otherwise, that would have been a home run in most ballparks. And here comes the manager trying to calm down Yu Darvish a little bit, see if he can find the groove. And looks like he's starting to find it a little bit here. He's able to go ahead, get his second strikeout of the ball game for him. And we'll do the same thing to Brian O'Keefe as well, striking out the next 2 batters as soon as the manager came in to talk. So Yu Darvish, giving up a couple of hits, couple of runs, but still able to come through and make sure not much more damage is done. But now the Louisville Colonial offense needs to come out and show, some pop in the bat as well. And how about this one right here into deep right field? A home run for George Polanco, his 8th one of the season. And it will go ahead, cut the lead in half as well. And Tommy Pham getting some ideas as well. Are we going to go back-to-back like a Drake diss? Yes, we do, with a 13th home run of the season for Tommy Pham. And that will bring in Charlie Blackmon up to the plate as well. This time, a few batters later, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Charlie Blackmon might be providing the hit that's going to provide the lead for Louisville. And Charlie Blackmon going to bring in at least 1 run in. It's going to make it 2 runs here as well after a bad cutoff throw. So Charlie Blackmon able to go ahead, bring in a couple of runs thanks to that double. And Louisville, answering with a huge shot of their own. They're going to go ahead and take a 4-2 lead. The damage is finally being done. But the Louisville Colonials, they now have the lead as Louisville's just batting around here in the early part of this game. Tommy Pham, he gets his 2nd at bat here in last 2 innings. And last at bat was a home run that gave Louisville the lead, or at least tied the ball game up. But now Here's another triple for Tommy Pham, his 4th triple of the season. And the lead will continue to grow. They now have a 5-2 lead. Now make it 6-2 as Tommy Pham was able to get home after the ground ball got past the third baseman. As now Charlie Blackmon up to the plate again, this time with bases loaded, but is going to strike out. And so, a good inning for Louisville, don't get me wrong, but never feels good when you have the bases loaded and you couldn't get anybody, out, into the home plate after that. But still, 6-2 lead for Louisville. Yu Darvish with the kind of seasons he's been having, kind of a downturn kind of year, could use all the help that can be provided, as Eric Hosmer is also going to go ahead and hit a home run. So now it's a 6-3 ball game as Jose Altuve now comes to the plate here. 6-3 ball game, but Jose Altuve, all it takes for him is one swing of the at-bat, and everyone knows it too. When you get a camera angle like that, it's a wrap. Jose Altuve getting the 11th home run of the season, and now this game is now all tied up all of a sudden. We got potentially another barn burner on our hands here. Louisville getting more hits, but Indianapolis, they're just having more timely hitting, it seems like. And speaking of Indianapolis, they will be going to their bullpen here in the bottom of the 7th inning. James Holt coming into the game, facing a Tommy Pham, but that's not the biggest deal here. We have ourselves a stolen base by George Polanco, also his 8th stolen base of the season. Just doing all the little things, got a stolen base, also has a home run here as well. And thanks to that save, George Polanco was actually able to come home. So what a great way to go ahead and manufacture runs. Louisville was a team that was struggling a little bit coming into this game. Not necessarily sellers here at the USBL Trade Day, but, not necessarily in a position to compete themselves either unless they go on some type of run here in the second half of the season. As Charlie Blackmon takes his out deep to center field. It's going to be at least a triple. So a huge hit for Charlie Blackmon. Yet another runner for the Louisville Colonials gets into scoring position. And here comes the man of the hour, George Polanco. He's been having himself a great series so far, and looks like he might be able to continue it. Hits a little poke out into right field, and that will go ahead. That brings in another run. That brought Charlie Blackmon home. Now Tommy Pham, he comes to the plate. Hard hit ball out into right field. Although this is a little bit short. Another run for the Louisville Colonials. The inning does end shortly afterwards, but that being said, a great inning for the Louisville Colonials for sure. As now Indianapolis, they're put in a tough spot here. Gotta get 3 runs home. But things are going to get very interesting here. Bases loaded, nobody out. Gonna see a double play here, but despite that, 1 run does score. So if a game-tying run here is going to come to the plate here. 2 outs, top of the 9th, Francisco Lindor trying to go ahead and play a little bit of hero ball, but is going to ground out. This game is going to end. And the Louisville Colonials, they take care of business against the NL Central leading Indianapolis Indians in order to try to make up a little bit of ground in the division. Louisville coming home and winning this game by a score of 9-7. So how about one of the most, I mean it when I say it, one of the most insane games that we've seen so far from an offensive perspective. 23-14 was the final score of a San Francisco 49ers beating the Arizona Cardinals by that final score. Joe Panic did get player of the game. He was 4 for 6. We did also see Zach Eflin. He made his USBL debut. It was not pretty. He lost the game. He didn't even survive an inning. And, I mean, it was a bad day for all pitchers involved. I don't think there was a single pitcher out there that didn't allow a run in this game, but the San Francisco Seals are going to come out on top and win this ball game. But let's go to another game to see if we get a little bit more competitive action here. So we got a good one here between the Baltimore Stone Crabs and the San Jose Marauders. But of course, my Elgato capture card decided to mess up a little bit here. Thought I was recording. I was definitely wrong. So did manage to save the extra innings here. This was a really exciting ball game. Game was all tied up at 6 apiece. But bottom of the 12th, though, we might see a little bit of a rally, though, as San Jose, thanks to Mike Trout, ends up coming out on top. They do end up winning this game by a final score of 7-6, and we do get a walk-off here. This could be a potential playoff matchup in the playoffs, depending on how these two teams perform throughout the rest of the season. I can't wait to see how it all shakes out, but in the meantime, more competitive action in the National League as the Los Angeles Saints will go all the way across the country and take on the Washington Senators, who are also in play. They're trying to go ahead. They're trying to chase the Philadelphia Patriots in the NL East. Meanwhile, Jose Quintana and the LA Saints trying to keep the foothold of control that they have in the NL West as we do draw ever closer to the All-Star break. But the Washington Senators trying to wake up and use violence, man. Starting off, opening at bat, a lead-off double by none other than Nick Madrigal. 10th double of the season for him. So right from the jump, the Washington Senators do go ahead and get a runner into scoring position, which JD Martinez, not wasting any time at the plate, 2-1 count, sends it over the wall, and it will be a 2-run shot for JD Martinez, his 18th home run of the season. So the Washington Senators going to go ahead. They take an early 2-0 lead here as Ketel Marte looking to add on to that as well, as that's a nice hit out into right field. If it wasn't for how well that right fielder played that ball, could have been a double, but still able to go ahead and get runners at the corners, which looks like this ball will at least bring one runner home, even though the second out will be made. So a nice sacrifice fly, as the throw to home plate is simply not in time. So the Washington Senators, they will have a 3-0 lead to work with here. As Mitch Garver now comes to the plate, the catcher for this Washington Senators squad. 256 batting so far, and it's a big inning for Washington. Another home run. This time Mitch Garver, only his 4th one all season long. As Michael Conforto, he hits this one out to left field. He's going to go ahead and get himself a base, actually a double, matter of fact. Not known for the speed. You saw that speed rating of 44. Michael Conforto, though, making some things happen. And this inning still it still feels like it's continuing. You know, Washington just abusing the LA Saints right now. They might run these people off the baseball field, it seems like, as now the lead grows to 7-0. But Jacob Barnes trying to calm himself down. He actually had to come into the bullpen, as starter was just simply not good. It was not acceptable. Another solo shot, though, for the Washington Senators. And the bleeding will still continue. Eduardo Escobar hitting a solo shot himself. He's going to make it an 8-0 game until finally the inning does manage to end mercifully. But man, facing an 8-0 deficit, it doesn't matter how early or how late the game is. When you're down 8-0, it is a big hole to try to go ahead and overcome. We'll see if LA can do it. You know, I've seen crazier things happen both in real life and in MLB The Show. But it looks like Washington is simply not going to let up. And that's how you need to be if you want to be a playoff team here in the USBL. Because there isn't a big difference in talent, I would say, you know, between, you know, these teams in the USBL as there was in the MLB. You know, it really comes down to execution. How well can you go about executing here in the USBL? And right now, Washington Senators, they're doing a great job. They're getting some great timely hitting, as Archie Bradley will come in from the bullpen for the LA Saints. Already their 3rd pitcher in this game, and we are only in the 4th inning, you guys. We still have 5 other innings left to play, so LA Saints, they could have a really long day for the bullpen, but at least the bats are starting to get going here as LA finally gets a couple runners into scoring position. We'll see if they can bring them home, man. I don't know what will happen after this at-bat. Alejandro Kirk trying to do his part, though. He gets his 12th double of the season. As now, we got another base hit right up the right side. And it's going to be LA Saints finally getting on the board, man. It feels really good if you're an LA Saints guy. But still, a lot of ground to make up, though. LA needing a big inning. We'll see if they can get it. But a double play, that's not necessarily going to help your guys out, even though they did bring another run in because of that. But grounding into a double play, that's certainly not what you want to do when you're down by 8, 7 runs, you know. But Mitch Garver comes to the plate here in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Mitch Garver's not even known for the power hitting. He's not known for hitting the dingers, but this is a special day for Mitch Garver. He's feeling himself for sure. 2nd home run in this game, but only his 5th of the entire season. So Washington goes ahead and gets a run back as if they don't need much more cushion, I would imagine. But again, you know, crazier things have happened. I've seen worse blowouts, but Washington's now up by 8 runs here once again. LA needing to get the bats going here once again, and will have to do it against Leonardo Lopez, who makes his 39th appearance of the season for the Washington Senators. Although he's got a bases loaded situation to work up against Alejandro Kirk at the plate. Big inning here for LA. This is deep to left field. This is a home run. They're back in this game, and it is grand slam for Alejandro Kirk, his 3rd home run of the season. And the LA Saints, they're back in this ball game. Don't call it a comeback yet, kids. As Alejandro Kirk, the catcher for the LA Saints, just got them back into this ball game. Now it's time for the pitching staff of the LA Saints to come through here and try to put, you know, this team in a position to where maybe they can all of a sudden, you know, make some kind of comeback. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Nick Goody comes in for LA, and as of right now, doing some good stuff. Able to get a couple of strikeouts to start the inning, but then after a couple of walks, base hit right up the middle, and Washington able to go ahead. They get themselves yet another run in this game. The 11th run for the Washington Senators. Their bats are really on fire right now. Although the inning will eventually end as Davidson will strike out to Nick Goody. But LA still getting some work to do. They've closed the gap, but they're still down by 5 runs. And now we got Cesar Valdez coming in the game for the Washington Senators. He's been struggling this season, but hey, 5-1 lead. You know, only need to pitch, you know, through this inning, get to the closer maybe. You know, good time, you know, try to build some confidence in maybe some of the lower end members of your bullpen. But, well, let's just say we're seeing why he is having the kind of season that Cesar Valdez has, given up 2 runs in this inning alone. And we're not even done yet. LA trying desperately to make a rally as this is hit down the right field. It will eventually be caught. But yet another run scored for the LA Saints. It's now just a 3-run game. Got an 11-8 difference. And Washington not waiting around whatsoever. Bringing in Aaron Loop now, who has 8 holds on the season so far. Is going to get hold number 9 as he check swings right into a strikeout. So the inning ends for the LA Saints. But despite that, it's only a 3-run difference. And Noah Ramirez, who just coming into the game now himself, get a clean inning here. You know, never know what can happen in the ninth. But it's really critical that you come out of this inning without allowing any more runs. You can't afford it right now. But the Washington Senators, they have something different to say. Ball able to get out all the way to the wall. And it will be considered a double for Josh Reddick. 21st double of the season is now Matt Davidson coming to the plate for the Washington Senators. 0 for 3 so far in the day. He's been quiet. But look at this. We got a wild pitch situation. And now runners get to third and second. Oh boy. Things are getting tied up in here, but it's a strikeout. Got the second strikeout of this inning. And so there we go. Washington does end up getting the clean inning. And now here we go. Can LA try to rally back? Trying to get something going, but LA just ran out of gas. The start that they had really costed them. They tried really hard to bounce back. They fought like hell, but Washington Senators are still going to come out on top. They win this game 11-8 off of a really hot start. But yeah, man, we are certainly seeing some exciting games here in the USBL here today. So, guys, if you haven't done so already, smash that like button. Even leave a comment for me as well as hit that subscribe button. All of those stuffs, help grow, the baseball channel here in JohnJake Baseball. But that being said, we will go back to some divisional matchup action here as we are going to go ahead and watch the Aurora Lightning go up against the Milwaukee Bears. And I got to say, the Milwaukee Bears, probably one of my favorite logos in this entire series. At least top 5, bare minimum. But that being said, also, how did that guy steal second? He was caught a pickoff, but Benito Osuna, 15th stolen base of the season, just finding a way to make it work, holding on to the ball a little bit too long there. And it's going to cost him. Osuna, same at bat too, by the way. He's going to be able to come home. That's a run that's given up because you can't execute a good pickoff, unfortunately. So, yeah, that being said, it is going to be a 1-0 game for your Aurora Lightning, but that lead will go ahead and continue to grow as Dominic Smith, he hits his 11th home run of the season. So now a 3-0 game here, but Brian Buxton will end up striking out in order to end the first inning. But Dominic Smith able to get a 2-run shot. So now a 3-0 game here. And yeah, we got some good action here for sure. Morel Kelly on the mound for the Aurora Lightning. That is lightning in a bottle right there for sure, as that ball is absolutely crushed. And look at this. That was his first home run this season. He hasn't hit any home runs prior to that at bat. In his first home run, he crushes it. It looked like it went out of the stadium practically. That's crazy. But although the Milwaukee Bears could not capitalize off of the first home run of the season in Alex Dickerson's USBL career. But hey, Dickerson able to come through, get his first home run of the season. You'll love to see that. But yeah, it seems like the Aurora Lightning, man, watch out for them going forward. They just, if you guys remember the USBL draft episode, they had the very first pick in the USBL draft, off of the, random lottery, because, we haven't played any actual USBL seasons just yet. And yeah, here they are. They also have the divisional lead on top of it. So this is not only a potentially dangerous team now, but can be a dangerous team in the future as well. As Aurora still continues to go ahead, they get another double out there in left center field as Corey Dickerson gets his 15th double of the season. But manager gonna come out, talk to Brian Brian Sammons. Wow, I cannot talk at all today. Yeah, some of these pronunciations, man, just try to say it 3 times fast. You know what I'm saying? But Kiki Hernandez coming to the plate for the Aurora Lightning in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Kiki, do you love me? Because I'm sure the Aurora Lightning fans will love that shot out in the right center field. And Kiki Hernandez able to get himself yet another double, his 10th double of the season. You love the sliding action as well. Is now still bottom of the 4th inning. Matt Adams coming to the plate, trying to bring Kiki Hernandez home, but he's going to strike out. And it's the 4th strikeout for Brian Sammons. But surprisingly, Milwaukee also goes about. They pulled their starter a little early, man. It's a little wild to me. I know he hasn't had one of the best starts necessarily, as there's another home run given up by this Milwaukee pitching staff. But, I mean, the pitching count wasn't too terribly high, at least not that I can call. So, a very puzzling move, to say the least. But, you know, same thing as the last game, Aurora, you know, seems to be in a position where they're trying to run Milwaukee off the field and, you know, really putting on a show for the home crowd, as well as we got another extra base hit. Aurora just doing a fantastic job of hitting this baseball. As now Kike Hernandez comes back to the plate here in the bottom of the 5th inning. This one is hit deep out in the right center field. Is that a home run? No! It almost was a ground rule double, though, although it will still be the same result, though. And, you know, Kike Hernandez just having himself a great day in Milwaukee. They got to go to their bullpen once again. Matt Andrassi coming in, his 39th appearance of the season, will go ahead and strike out Matt Adams. Make sure no more damage is done, but Milwaukee finds themselves down by 8 runs in this game. You know, not a good look whatsoever. Milwaukee need to come out and get some offense. That will certainly help the cause. Joey Wendell sending a absolute rocket out into right field. 9th home run of the season for him. And that will inspire the Aurora Lightning to go to the bullpen. Tony Goslin coming into the game now. He spotting that 3.66 ERA. Although it could be going up here shortly, as we have yet another solo shot. Very next batter, Alex Bregman going yard for the Milwaukee Bears. Is this now a 9-3 ball game? Is it? Oh my goodness. Back to back to back. You have to be kidding me. Oh my goodness. Second home run too for Alex Dickerson. Remember, this guy has not hit a single home run all season long. We are in early July for Pete's sake. So we're firmly we're more than 3 months into the season. And Alex Dickerson, he hits 2 home runs in the same game. How crazy is that? And it helps Milwaukee come to the lead a little bit, you know, able to get 3 runs, but gotta stop this Aurora offense, though. That's something that this Milwaukee pitching staff has really struggled with. Got Zach Collins to struck out. You know, he's a guy with a high base percentage, but what's been really killing him is that home run ball. Just really coming out here and hitting some dingers. This time, Willie Adams deciding to go yard. His 11th home run of the season. As we now move to the top of the 8th inning. Milwaukee really starting to go ahead and run out of time. As Alex Dickerson, is he going to go yard 3 times in the same game? He does. He hits 3 home runs in the same game. Wow. Oh my goodness. Alex Dickerson making an impact and trying to will his team to victory. But who else on this team is going to show up and play? You know, that's, you know, been the $1 million question. And John Smoot looking to not give up either. He's going to bring in a double as well. Nice little extra base hit. But he would end up being stranded, unfortunately. And now the bullpen put in a tough spot here once again is Brad Peacock. He comes to the game now. Runner on first, nobody else is Willie Adames. He's going to send this one out into right field. That will just barely drop fair, and I would imagine that's going to bring in another run. Not that he necessarily need it, but it's certainly nice to have. Let's say it like that, you know. So 11-5 ball game for the Aurora Lightning as Willie Adams get his 22nd RBI double. As now we are in the top of the 9th inning now. Just easy save for, you know, Evan Marshall, you know, ending the game, able to get the ground out. And Aurora Lightning, they're showing why they are currently a division leader here in the USBL. Just controlling this game from beginning to end. They win this one by a final score of 11-5 to increase their lead in the NL Central. So guys, the final episode I'm going to show here today is the New Orleans Kings going on the road and taking on the New York Knights. And both of these teams, they got very similar records. You know, New York, one of those teams that feel like they need to do more. But that being said, at the same time, you know, not necessarily doing, I guess living up to the expectations is what I'm trying to say. But, you know, that being said, you know, we're going to start things off in the top of the first inning. And New Orleans, when you're a home team, it's so, or not a home team, when you're a road team, it is so important to start early, or start hard, start hot and early and fast, man. That's what I'm trying to say, really. Words are really hard for me, man, but New Orleans does get off to a fast start. They will get the first run of the game in the top of the first inning. And, you know, it's always important to start fast, you know, regardless of whether you're like home or away, but more important so when you're on the road, when you're playing up against a, you know, hostile environment. You know, the home crowd, you know, there's a reason why more teams win their home games more often than their road games. You know, that's not by accident, but we got ourselves a solo shot here in the top of the first inning as well, as we end up seeing Anthony Santander go to distance, able to get his 10th home run of the season, as we go ahead and see Jose Barrios take the mound for the New Orleans Kings, as we see Isaiah Kiner-Falefa batting .256 so far in the season, and that is a ride. Is that going to be gone? It's got the distance. Does it have the angle? Yes, it does, for a home run of the season for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. And it's a 3-1 ball game here, as Jesse Winker, he's going to end up striking out right after Falefa. And then Ramon Laureano, he's going to actually go ahead and do the same thing here as well. But good start for New Orleans overall, still up 3-1 after 1 inning of play. But now we go ahead and cut into the bottom of the second inning, where Jay Bruce comes up to bat. He's currently on the interstate right now, only batting 188. And they even had the audacity to try to put the shift on him, but Jay Bruce ends up being the shift, and I guess the outfielder shift out there, you know, same direction as well, as Jay Bruce, because he beat the shift so well, he was able to get a double out of it where it probably would have been a single. As we see Ronald Guzman come up to the plate now. He has not had a single hit all season long until today. He was a guy that's recently called up, and I'm going to go into probably all of the call-ups here around the USBL next episode. But Ronald Guzman was one of those players, and he gets his very first hit of the season. And what a way to get it done here, too. He's going to go ahead, make this a one-run game, as Rougned Odor comes in. He's been on a little bit of a hot streak as of late, and he might try to go ahead and keep the good vibes going. This is deep, and it is gone. 2-run shot for Rougned Odor, 17th home run of the season. As Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he's going to go ahead and strike out the next at bat, and no more runners will get on base, at least here in the bottom of the second inning. But for the time being, the New York Knights are going to go ahead, and they will, at least for the time being, take the lead. But the lead will not last long, though, as Jordan Alvarez, he gets his 20th home run of the season. As we get another strikeout here, that ends the third. Jordan Alvarez gets this game all tied back up once again. We could be in for another potentially explosive ball game here, man, as we get a strikeout on Romero Laureano, for strikeout for Jose Barrios. As now Ronald Guzman, one of the people acquired in the USBL Trade Day, if I'm not mistaken, he's going to go ahead. He's going to hit himself a home run as well. Going to go ahead and get that first home run of the season. Or he was the guy that was called up. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But anyways, Dylan Tate, he comes into the game as the starter was already knocked out. Jose Barrios just straight up not having himself a good time whatsoever. He's kind of struggling here a little bit. And as a result of that, going to be the 18th home run for Rougned Odor. As now Jay Bruce coming to the game now, double and 2 runs. As we get into the bottom of the 5th inning, Jay Bruce, who not known for the batting average, able to get yet another hit, this time being what he's known for, though. 12th home run for Jay Bruce. You know, not a guy that can hit for average, but he is certainly a guy right here that can go ahead and get some dingers for you. As we go ahead now, see yet another home run being hit by Yasmani Grandal. He was actually acquired in the USBL Trade Day, if you remember from just earlier in this episode, and making an immediate impact right away as it makes an 11-4 ball game, only going to increase even more as yet another run comes in. New York just absolutely going off here. They're up 12-4 here in the bottom of this 5th inning. They can't bring anybody else home, unfortunately, but man, what a big inning. We'll see how the New Orleans Kings can go ahead and respond here now, as we got a 1-2 count here in the top of the 6th inning. Justin Turner coming up and getting a nice hit right out into right center field. This could go extra bases and will be a double. Despite the lack of speed that Justin Turner has, it will also count as his 13th double of the season. As now Yordan Alvarez comes into the game. He's 2 for 2, able to make it 3 for 3. He's been feeling himself. Justin Turner trying to go ahead and get home. This could be close, but the throw will not be in time whatsoever. And so New Orleans does get a run back, but still got a lot of runs to try to make up here. As we get to the bottom of the 6th inning, got another huge hit here. This could make some major moves, get some runners on the 2nd and 3rd base. It's Tim Hill just having himself a rough time in paradise. That's Jay Bruce once again with yet another double. Yeah, he's not known for anything when it comes to batting, unless it's about, you know, getting some hits out there on the, you know, home run style, you know what I'm saying? But Jay Bruce making an exception for today, as New York does go ahead. They score another run, so they get that lead back, as Aaron Sledgers now comes into the game here, his 34th appearance of the season. Let's get into the top of the 7th inning. 2 outs. Omar Narvaez, he's looking for it. Is it going to be fair? Yes, sir, baby. 4th home run of the season for Omar Narvaez. Is now Alir. I'm having a hard time pronouncing that. He gets a hit, though. I just having a complete blank with how to pronounce his name. If you guys know, by the way, how to pronounce that name, let me know down in the comments, as he's going to actually stretch this out for a triple, and he's going to be safe. Cutoff throw was just absolutely atrocious. And so if a guy with the hard name to pronounce gets a triple, as we get into the top of the 8th inning here, as New Orleans, they continue to try to go ahead. They are continuing to try to go get this rally going. They're trying to make the comeback happen. Do you believe in miracles? As Brian Reynolds comes to the plate, he's going to strike out. And ultimately 2 runners will be stranded on base. So, I mean, New Orleans trying to make a comeback. You got to give them some credit for, you know, showing some heart, showing some passion, not giving up after being shell-shocked there, you know, in that 4th, 5th inning. But is it going to be a little too late? It might just be the case, as yet another home run is going to be hit. This time it's deep out into left center field. Ramon Laureano able to get his 19th home run of the season, as Yasmani Grandal comes into the game now, 2 for 3 so far, making a huge impact and continuing to do just that. What a boost that he instantly has been for the New York Knights, as they try to go ahead. They try to make a run. They're not out of it yet. You know, they're trying to make some moves. As now Ronald Guzman coming up to the plate now, 3 for 4. He's gonna strike out swinging, and that might. Is there gonna be another runner stranded, or are we gonna see another death blow? Odor going to strike out himself as well. But New Orleans in a bad spot. You need 6 runs just to keep the game alive, and you only got 3 outs to do it. So New York gonna call up one of the players that they recently brought up to the USBL club. We got a Blake Walston. This is only his 2nd appearance this entire season, and he's going to take care of the work. Clean inning for Blake Walston. And the New York Knights, an exciting ball game for sure. New Orleans got to give them credit. They really did try to go about making it interesting. But at the end of the day, we will see the New York Knights defeat the New Orleans Kings 14-8. Alright guys, so that will wrap up today's episode of the USBL. And guys, we're going to get into some really exciting stuff here in the near future. Next episode, we will wrap up with the early portion of July. Going to show some gameplay. And then also going to go about showing all of the call-ups for, you know, all the teams in the USBL. So it might be a little bit longer of an episode, but, you know, want to see, you know, some of the players up and coming potentially. And then after that next episode, you know, next Friday, we're going to have the All-Star break. So going to have the All-Star game for, you know, the USBL, AAA, AA. Going to have that Home Run Derby, and we're going to have the Futures game as well, which I believe is like the Rookie Showcase, if I'm not mistaken. You know, y'all let me know what's going on with that. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the USBL here on MLB The Show 21. And if you did, feel free to smash that like button, as well as hit subscribe if you have to be brand new to the channel. This is JohnJake on the mic signing off, but I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, y'all.